We're going to begin at 4 o'clock with a live look outside. That's not bad. It's another warm spring day, but we could see the possibility of strong storms popping up along the I-25 corridor. Where have you heard that before? Thanks so much for joining us at 4, everyone. I'm Phil Lipoff.
I'm Kim Christensen. This weather pattern is going to be pretty consistent over the next few days, so we want to get the latest on the forecast. Our Corey Reppenhagen is joining us now. And Corey, you kind of like this stuff? For people that have plans, they're like, not so much.
Yeah, I'm probably one of the few that are really into days like this. And really the next 3 days, we'll have an isolated chance to see a strong thunderstorm right around the Denver metro area. You may have noticed there's a little bit more juice in the atmosphere today. You didn't really need that chapstick. There's plenty of moisture in the air. So that is going to be the fuel for the fire today. As storm speaking, temperatures in the 70s. That's part of the formula as well. It was a little bit warmer today than it was the last several days. And we're not seeing too much activity on the radar just yet. We are seeing a few strong storms in the Douglas County foothills up here in the mountains near Winter Park, but nothing near Denver yet. But that storm threat goes all the way until about 10, 11 o'clock tonight. There are a few storms, really slow moving storms out here on the eastern plains as well, but those have not shown too much ferociousness just yet. We've seen looking at the Fort Morgan camera here, there's some puffy clouds overhead. So the atmosphere has a lot of moisture in it. So we're waiting to see if we can get a storm going here in the Denver metro area to follow tonight. And that is possible tomorrow as well, Saturday. Even Sunday has a shot for some isolated strong storms. So I'll detail those storm threats and the rain chances coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
All right. Thank you, Corey. Today, the next class of cadets were commissioned as officers in the United States Air Force and Space Force. It was graduation day at the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs for the class of 2026. Vice President J.D. Vance served as the commencement speaker. The Academy historically has either the President, Vice President, Defense Secretary, or Secretary of the Air Force speak to the graduating class. Vance spoke about the uncertain future of warfare that the class of 2026 may face.
You are graduating into one of those eras where that reality, that unpredictability of warfare is becoming impossible to ignore. Now, your nation, your Vice President, and the President of the United States, who sends his very best, we ask you to apply that same adaptability, that same innovation that you learned at this academy to an entirely new era of warfare.
Vance was also scheduled to speak at a public event today in Denver, but attendees found out via email last night that that event was canceled. No reason was given. The trial of a former Mountain View councilman continued today. Brent Metz is accused of shooting a 17-year-old in the face.
Metz shot the victim while the teen and a friend were on his property looking for a place to take homecoming photos. Today, that victim spoke in court. 9 News reporter Janelle Finch joins us now with what he had to say, and also, Janelle, some other testimony from Jeffco.
Kim, Phil, we are not naming the now 19-year-old victim, and as he took the stand, the court turned off all video and audio recordings. He claimed on September 10th, when he was shot in the face, he thought he was going to die. The team claims he remembers driving through the Deer Creek Valley area with his best friend looking for a place to take photos. He told the court that they stopped at a house that had a lake, trees, and mountains in the back, thinking they found their place. He admitted they jumped the fence to look for property owners to ask for their permission to take pictures. When they couldn't find anyone, they went back to their car to write a note when the victim claims a truck pulled up. Then he blacked out. He claims he woke up and looked down to see a lot of blood. He told the jury he felt his upper lip was gone and tasted fragments of something in his mouth. In addition to the victim, prosecuting attorneys presented x-rays of the teen's head, 911 audio from Metz's girlfriend, and video of functionality testing on Metz's firearm. The expert engineer who did that testing claims the type of gun used would only go off if the trigger was pulled.
During your testing and examination of this firearm, were you able to ever cause this pistol to fire without a trigger pull?
No, all the physical testing of the gun required a trigger actuation to get it to actually go through the discharge process to cause all the passive safeties to disengage and initiate a discharge. All other attempts failed.
True or false? This P320 could have discharged because the trigger was otherwise depressed, meaning not from a human finger or intentionally by a person. Is that right?
That's any firearm, yeah.
Right.
That's any
Right.
firearm.
That's the defense you're hearing in that second shot. Now, the defense is going to bring in their own set of witnesses, which will include their own gun safety expert. They're hoping to convince the jury that it's possible the gun could have been triggered, not by Metz himself. Live in Golden, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
This trial seems to be moving along pretty well, Janelle, but I think most people were just most curious to hear from that teenager himself.
Yes, absolutely. Just wanting to hear how he remembers that day. And of course, just hearing him say how he touched his face. He actually also mentioned that he touched his mouth, felt the blood, went immediately to the back of his head to see if that gun came out. That bullet ended up lodged in the back of his eye, did not exit his head. And just hearing a now 19-year-old describe those events, it was just absolutely had everyone at the edge of their seats. He really went through something traumatic.
No kidding. No kidding. No matter what comes through this, we always send our thoughts to the person that was involved in that. All right. Thank you, Janelle.
So it's a delicate time of year between humans and animals. Lots of new wildlife babies being born and mamas getting really protective with the people who get a little too close to their babies. Wildlife leaders across the state are getting reports about some dangerous interactions, even injuries. Jennifer Meckles joins us now with a reminder, Jenny, before you head into the wild for your next trip, or if one of them shows up in your environment.
Yeah, because right now, Phil, we've been getting reports about a lot of both of those things happening. Colorado Parks and Wildlife says just this past weekend, a moose attacked somebody walking their dogs in Winter Park on Sunday. This was a mama moose. She had her kid nearby. CPW said she charged at the victim and kicked them, sending that person to the hospital with serious chest and arm injuries, and the dogs got away. CPW says that victim did not do anything wrong. This was just a wrong place, wrong time, and we are in that season with wildlife. Just to be clear, the moose here in these pictures, not the moose in question from Winter Park, but just a few others that have been spotted around Colorado lately. It is the time of year that moose deliver their babies, and like any moms protecting their young, they just get a little more sensitive about anybody that might be a perceived threat. Same with elk. Rocky Mountain National Park says they got a recent alert of an aggressive elk when a park visitor shared with us. She was hiking Bear Lake Trailhead with her teenage child. They walked right past an elk calf near the trail, and seconds later, the mama charged after him. She said they stalked them for several minutes until they could put enough distance between the animal and themselves. Ultimately, everybody was okay. A lot of close calls this time of year. CPW says you do not have to just bail out of a hike because you see wildlife. Many of us in our time here have seen really cool wildlife, but you really have to be sensitive to giving them distance, watching their signs, and look out for those babies.
When they start to feel a little intimidated or scared, or they want to protect themselves, they're going to let you know. So they're going to start licking their lips. You know, the little hairs on the back of their necks are going to stand up. They're going to point those ears back, maybe walk back and forth.
And that's when CPW says that is the time to move away and do so slowly. Don't just take off running either, because that's not good for the animal. Give yourself and give the moose at least 2 ways out. Now, what happens when an animal comes to you, like these photos from people sending us in the suburbs where animals have come to their backyards? Bobcats on fences, mountain lions walking across patios, pronghorn in the backyard. Well, the same advice applies. Give them space, that's obvious, and don't feed them, Phil. Not on purpose, definitely. Also not on accident. Don't leave stuff out they can get into.
Absolutely.
Come on, folks.
No, and you know what? It's a good reminder at this point every year, because the encounters are going to happen.
Yeah, 'tis the season, right? The babies are coming, so be ready.
All right, Jenny, thanks.
Some really sad news from the hockey world today. Former Avs forward Claude Lemieux has died at the age of 60. The NHL Alumni Association announced his passing today. TMZ is reporting that he died by suicide. Lemieux won 4 Stanley Cups during his career, including with Colorado in 1996. He spent a little over 4 seasons with the Avs and was known as a physical player, highlighted by his famous hit on Chris Draper during the Western Conference Finals. That incident sparked a bitter rivalry between the Avs and the Red Wings. Lemieux's last public appearance was on Monday. He carried the torch for the team that drafted him, the Montreal Canadiens, ahead of their playoff game. Claude Lemieux, again, 60 years old.